The Ghosts of Deadwood, Shadows of Vengeance. Prologue, Echoes of the Past. The wind howled through the twisted pine trees like a mournful spirit, carrying whispers of forgotten sins across the desolate Dakota Territory. Dust devils danced between weathered tombstones, spinning tales of blood and betrayal that no living soul dared to speak aloud. Eli Raven sat motionless on his midnight black stallion, his weathered leather duster billowing like a battle-worn flag. The setting sun painted the horizon in bruised shades of purple and crimson, a canvas that seemed to bleed with the memories he could never escape. His calloused hand rested near the worn pearl-handled Colt revolver, a gift from the brother he'd failed to save. Some debts can't be paid with silver, he thought. Some require blood. The town of Deadwood sprawled before him like a wounded animal, its ramshackle buildings clinging to the mountainside with the same desperation as a dying man clutching his last breath. Every weathered board, every whiskey-stained saloon, every shadowy alleyway held a secret, and Eli was here to drag those secrets into the unforgiving light. Chapter 1: The Bounty. The Silver Dollar Saloon erupted with the kind of noise that could wake the dead, and in Deadwood, the dead were never far from the living. Cigarette smoke hung thick as a funeral shroud, obscuring faces that preferred to remain hidden. Eli pushed through the swinging doors, his spurs jingling a warning with each deliberate step. "I'm looking for information on Thomas Bleeding McGraw," he announced, his voice as dry as the prairie wind. A heavy silence dropped like a guillotine blade. The piano player in the corner stopped mid-chord. Card games froze. Even the whiskey seemed to hold its breath. An old-timer with a face like cracked leather and eyes that had seen too much leaned forward. "Might be dangerous asking about a man like that, stranger." Eli slapped a wanted poster on the bar. The sketch showed a man with a jagged scar running from his left eye to his jaw, a map of violence etched into human skin. Dangerous, my specialty. What Eli didn't say, what no one in this godforsaken town knew, was that Thomas McGraw wasn't just another outlaw. He was the man who'd murdered Eli's younger brother, Jacob, 5 years ago during a stagecoach robbery that had left nothing but blood-soaked memories and an unquenchable thirst for revenge. But revenge, Eli was learning, was never a simple transaction. In Deadwood, every truth was layered with lies, every path crossed with unexpected shadows. Little did Eli know, his arrival had already set in motion a chain of events that would unravel a conspiracy decades in the making, a web of corruption that stretched from the lowest saloon rat to the highest government official. The ghosts of Deadwood were about to wake up, and they were hungry for justice. Chapter 2: Whispers and Secrets. Maria Santiago understood secrets. As the daughter of a Mexican immigrant and a Lakota woman, she'd learned early that survival meant keeping your mouth shut and your eyes open. Working as the town's telegram operator gave her a unique vantage point. Information was currency, and she was its most careful investor. When Eli Raven walked into her small telegraph office, she recognized a man carrying more secrets than most towns could handle. His eyes weren't just looking for an outlaw, they were searching for something deeper, more personal. "Telegram for Thomas McGraw," she said, her accent a melodic blend of cultures. Strange, considering most folks would run from that name, not chase it. Eli's smile was as sharp as a knife's edge. Some debts can't be forgotten. What neither of them realized was that the telegram was more than a simple message. It was a key that would unlock a conspiracy stretching from the Black Hills to the corridors of power in Washington. Chapter 3: The Conspiracy Unfolds. Governor Charles Harrington adjusted his silk cravat, seemingly unconcerned about the stack of confidential documents spread across his mahogany desk. Outside his window, Deadwood looked like any other frontier town, rough, lawless, ripe with potential. But potential, in Harrington's world, was just another word for opportunity. "McGraw has the map," a shadowy figure whispered from the corner of the room. "Once he's eliminated, the gold remains ours." Harrington's laugh was cold, calculated. "And our friend Raven will do most of the work for us." Little did they know, some hunters become the hunted. Chapter 4: Blood Trails. The mountains whispered secrets older than the land itself. Eli tracked McGraw's trail like a wolf hunting wounded prey, each hoofprint and broken twig telling a story of desperation and impending confrontation. Maria's telegram had revealed more than just coordinates. Hidden between innocuous lines about cattle prices and railroad schedules was a coded message, one that suggested McGraw wasn't working alone. Someone powerful wanted him silenced, and that someone wasn't Eli. By nightfall, Eli made camp in a narrow canyon where wind-carved rocks stood like silent sentinels. His campfire cast long shadows, transforming the landscape into a chiaroscuro of memory and vengeance. Jacob would have laughed at how complicated this had become. He thought, pulling out the worn daguerreotype of his brother. The photograph was faded, Jacob's smile frozen in time, forever young, forever innocent. Chapter 5: Crossroads of Fate. Governor Harrington's office in Deadwood was more fortress than government building. Mahogany panels and brass fixtures spoke of Eastern refinement transplanted into wild territory. But refinement, Eli knew, was just another mask for corruption. Mr. Raven, a smooth voice interrupted his surveillance. Interesting that a bounty hunter would take such personal interest in Thomas McGraw. Maria Santiago stood behind him, her eyes holding more intelligence than most men could comprehend. Some stories aren't about money, she said. Some are about justice. Harrington's aide, a wiry man with eyes that never quite met yours, shuffled papers nervously. Something was brewing, a storm more dangerous than any prairie tornado. Chapter 6: Shadows of Betrayal. Thomas McGraw wasn't just an outlaw. He was a ghost, a phantom who moved between worlds of law and lawlessness with terrifying ease. The scar on his face wasn't just a mark of violence, it was a roadmap of survival. When he learned Eli Raven was tracking him, a bitter laugh escaped his lips. Some hunters become the hunted, he muttered, checking the map hidden in his thul bag. A map that could change everything. Gold. Power. Revenge. The holy trinity of the American West. Chapter 7: The Hidden Ledger. The Deadwood Bank wasn't just a financial institution, it was the beating heart of a conspiracy that ran deeper than the gold mines of the Black Hills. Hidden behind a false wall in the bank's vault, a leather-bound ledger told a story of corruption that would make even the most hardened outlaw's blood run cold. Governor Harrington's signature appeared repeatedly, each entry more damning than the last. Land transfers. Bogus mining claims. Payoffs to territorial judges. But the final page held the real treasure, a map marked with an X that meant more than simple geography. Chapter 8: Fractured Alliances. Maria Santiago understood survival. Her mother, a Lakota woman who survived the massacre at Wounded Knee, had taught her that knowledge was the most powerful weapon. The map isn't just about gold, she told Eli, spreading out a collection of telegrams and documents. It's about something bigger. Something that could destroy everything. Eli's fingers traced the edges of an old wanted poster, his brother Jacob's blood still faintly staining the corner. Some secrets, he said, are paid for in blood. Chapter 9: The Reckoning Approaches. Thomas McGraw watched from the ridge, his scarred face a map of survival. The bounty hunter was close, too close. But Eli Raven wasn't just hunting an outlaw. He was chasing a ghost that had haunted him for 5 long years. The wind carried the promise of violence. In Deadwood, justice was just another word for survival. Chapter 10: Whispers of Betrayal. Governor Harrington's fingers drummed against his desktop. The telegram from Washington was clear, the map must never be found. Some secrets were worth killing for. Eliminate McGraw, the message read. Ensure the bounty hunter doesn't interfere. But in the world of Deadwood, nothing was ever that simple. The stage was set. The players were in motion. And the ghosts were about to have their reckoning. Chapter 11: Intersecting Paths. The old Crow scout named Running Deer knew something was coming. He'd watched the land long enough to understand that violence travels like water. Finding the path of least resistance. Your brother's death was no accident, he told Eli, pointing to a series of rock formations that looked like scattered bones against the landscape. McGraw was just a weapon. Someone else pulled the trigger. Eli's hand instinctively touched the scar on his palm, a promise made the night Jacob died. Chapter 12: The Confluence of Secrets. Maria's telegram office held more than communication lines. It was a nexus of information, where whispers from Washington crossed paths with frontier rumors. A coded message arrived. Governor Harrington's seal was unmistakable. But the content spoke of something far beyond a simple territorial dispute. The map must never reach federal investigators, the telegram read. By any means necessary. Chapter 13, Prices of Survival. Thomas McGraw wasn't running. He was calculating. The scar across his face told a story of survival, each inch a testament to battles fought and won. He knew Eli was close. He knew the governor wanted him silenced. But McGraw had an ace hidden, a secret that could bring down empires. The gold wasn't just gold. It was leverage. Chapter 14, The Gathering Storm. Deadwood trembled. Not from wind or weather, but from the promise of imminent violence. Eli Raven rode into town, dust billowing behind his horse like a funeral shroud. Maria Santiago watched from her telegraph office. Governor Harrington adjusted his silk cravat. The players were assembled. The game was about to begin. Vengeance has many faces. Justice has none. Chapter 15, The Final Reckoning. The sun hung like a molten bullet in the sky when Eli confronted Thomas McGraw at the abandoned Silver Creek mine. Years of tracking, years of revenge, compressed into this single moment. "You killed my brother," Eli said, his voice as hard as the granite mountain surrounding them. McGraw's scarred face twisted into something between a smile and a grimace. Jacob was in the wrong place. Knew too much. The truth unfolded like a blood-stained map. Jacob hadn't been a random victim. He discovered a conspiracy involving Governor Harrington, illegal land seizures, and a gold claim that could topple territorial governments. Maria Santiago arrived, her Winchester rifle steady. "The telegram I intercepted," she said, "proves everything. Harrington's been selling native lands to railroad barons. McGraw was their enforcer." A gunshot echoed. But it didn't come from Eli's Colt. Governor Harrington emerged from the mine's shadows, a smoking derringer in his hand. McGraw crumpled, blood spreading across his worn leather vest. "Some secrets," Harrington said, "die with the men who know them." Epilogue: Ghosts remain. In the end, justice was never clean. Eli watched as Maria telegraphed federal authorities, the evidence of Harrington's crimes secured. Jacob's ghost seemed to whisper, "Some vengeance costs more than blood." The Black Hills stood silent. Witnesses to a story that would never be fully told. The end. Join the adventure with the Western Echoes, Cowboy Tales Unleashed. If you're loving our cowboy stories and captivating tales, don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button to stay updated on all our future posts. Saddle up and ride along with us.